There are more Kalashnikov rifles on the planet than any other type of firearm. They've been made in lots of different countries over many decades, and because of this, it can be difficult to keep track of all the various makes and models. So, in order to add to the basic knowledge and to help anyone who's curious on the subject, we've created this information about the Soviet nomenclature used to describe the various models of Kalashnikov rifle. So we want to first encourage anyone who's interested in information like this to do your own research and to share it with others. Now we're going to talk about the Soviet nomenclature. Hopefully we've arranged this information in such a way that it'll help you keep track of the basic models of Kalashnikov, and we can use this information when we go forward to describe the Kalashnikovs from other countries. So to begin with, most people are aware that there's an AK-47 out there. Many people are also aware that in 1974 they changed the caliber and made some alterations to go to the AK-74. But there's actually three types or three families of Kalashnikov rifle. The original AK-47 that then migrated into the AK-74, but then most recently we've got the AK-100 series or the Century series. So when we look at the various models, they started out with the stamped AK-47, and then there was two models of milled receiver AK-47. Then they transitioned to the stamped receiver again with the modernized or modified AKM, which then a few years later transitioned into the smaller caliber AK-74, and once again that was modernized, and that's what we see today in the modern Century series or the AK-74M. Now when you think about all the Kalashnikov rifles out there, they can all fall into one of three variations. There's the standard wooden or plastic fixed stock that doesn't fold. Then we have the folding stock models, which either have the Soviet underfold type of folding stock or one of the various side folding stocks. And then of course there's the shorter barrel variations. There's two different options that will also be designated in the nomenclature, and that's the presence of a side rail or an optic rail, and then the ability to mount a suppressor, or if the suppressor is mounted, that'll be mentioned in the nomenclature. So by looking at the letters in the model of the AK-47 or the Kalashnikov rifle, we can see its caliber, its type of stock, the length of barrel, the ability to run optics, as well as if it's suppressed. So we get a lot of information from the model number there, and we'll go through some of those just to touch on them. So we've got the caliber. So we know that an AK-47 and an AKM are both 7.62 by 39. Some of the modern Century series are as well. Then we have the 74 and a couple of models of the Century series that run the 5.45 by 39. There are also some Century series, the modern AKs, that run the 5.45 or the 2.23 caliber as well. The easiest way to differentiate between the 30 caliber and the newer models of AK is by the curvature of the magazine. So when we talk about the 30 caliber AKs, we start out with those AK-47s, and then the nomenclature changes when they move to the modern or modified AKM. Now let's take a look at the stocks. That's designated by the letter S, which is handy since here in the US or in English S stands for stock, but in Russia it stands for folding, which is that word that I have no idea how to pronounce. So when we see the letter S in the name, we know that it has a folding stock. There's lots of different folding stocks out there. These are the 5 major ones. There are some others. Not all of these are Soviet, however. Now let's talk about the letter U. If you see the letter U in the name, we know that it's talking about the barrel length, so that means a shorter barrel. And again, I have no idea how to say that in Russian, but that's the designation for shortened barrel. Then we have the presence of a suppressor. We add the letter B at the very end of the name, and that's rarely used, but when you do see it there, that's what it means. And again, rarely used in civilian rifles, but occasionally used in military rifles is the letter N. I don't know what that stands for, but it lets us know that there's an optics rail or a night vision rail, and when we see it in the name, it just lets us know that it has the ability to run optics. So that's what the basic letters are for. It might make it clearer in your mind if we start from the beginning and work our way up. So let's start with that basic AK-47. Then we had the folding stock model of the AK-47. So we took the AK and we added the letter S to it. Later it was modified or modernized, and we added the letter M to it. Of course, there's a folding stock model of the modern AK. We call that an AKMS. We just add the letter S. Now, if we want to shorten the barrel, we add the letter U, and that comes after a dash typically. So now we have the folding stock and the short barrel with the 30 caliber AKM. Now, if we add a suppressor, it turns into an AKMS-UB. And if we add night vision to all that, we add the letter N, so AKM-NS-UB. That would be a short rifle with a suppressor that has a folding stock and the ability to run night vision. Then came the AK-74, and of course its folding stock model, we just add the letter S. Now if we shorten that one, we get the crank, the AKS-74U, and if we add a suppressor to that, we just put the letter B at the end. And of course if we add a night vision rail to that one, we can add the letter N, so we have AKNS-74UB for all the bells and whistles. The AK-74 was then modernized, and that's where you switch typically from the wooden stocks and the wooden handguards to the folding polymer stock, and that was the beginning of the Century series. They have a little bit different look on their shorter barrels, and that would be the topic for a whole nother video. But hopefully that'll give you some idea of the basic models, sizes, and calibers of the Kalashnikov rifles. But of course, I'm sure you might still have questions. Of course, this PDF will be available so you can use it for reference, and then we'll have future videos where we go on to use these Soviet nomenclatures when we talk about some of the other countries out there. We put information out there on our website, so if you're curious about stuff like this, feel free to comb through the websites. We have decades, literally a decade worth of information over there now. We always want to encourage people that watch our videos to do your part to support the U.S. economy and build a compliant firearm. You know, you come out with a better firearm and you spread some money around to where it matters. We do post information like this on our various websites. You can get the links in the PDF. We want to thank everyone for their support. And as always, thanks for watching.